Now, a poignant tale from Croatia as it marks the 20th anniversary of its decision to declare independence from the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. In the 4 years of war that followed, more than 100,000 people were killed. Alan Little, who reported on the war at the time, has been back to Croatia as the country prepares to join the European Union in a year's time.
Soon, this will be the European Union's eastern frontier. Vukovar sits on the broad sweep of the Danube River, which separates Croatia from Serbia. Despite its surface normality, it is a town haunted by its recent past. Serbs and Croats once lived a shared life here. Now they walk the same streets, but apart.
These young generations actually lived in two separate ghettos. Here in Vukovar we have some neutral, let's say, cafe, but for sure we know which cafe is a Croatian, which cafe is a Serbian, which sport club is a Serbian, and which even the fishermen, amateur fishermen clubs are divided.
This is what divided them. Vukovar was reduced to rubble by a 3-month siege and bombardment by Serb forces in 1991. Those trapped here ended up crammed into the basement of the town hospital.
I used to drive as close as I could get to the siege lines, and I would sit and listen on the car radio to the reports of a young Croatian radio journalist in Vukovar. He was the same age as me, and I found his reporting vivid and compelling and brave. By the end, the Serb paramilitaries hated him, and we knew that if they caught him, there was a strong chance that they would kill him.
His name was Siniša Glavašević. He was 31.
Of course I knew him. He was a wonderful young guy. He was a poet, full of love for this town. His reports were very emotional, but he was a happy person and always very amusing. He came here to the hospital every day during the siege. I saw him in the corridor at the end. He hoped to get out on a Red Cross convoy.
Instead, he was brought here, beaten, then shot. They found him in this mass grave with 200 others from Vukovar. 4 years before Srebrenica, mass murder was already a feature of the war. Siniša Glavašević left a young widow and a son who was then 7 years old. 20 years on, I played him a clip of his father's reporting.
What is it like for you to listen to that now?
Well, I like hearing my father's voice, always. I could have become very radical about people from Serbia, an example. I chose not to, because I cannot generalize. We cannot build a future if we are constantly dragged to the past and in a negative way by people who need our votes. Young people need to feel and they need to experience as much of the sadness of what happened, not the hatred, not the aggression, but the sadness of what happened. Because, and they also need to know that not only Croats were killed in Vukovar, a lot of Serbs died there.
In a Croatia where nationalist sentiment is still strong, this is a new voice. It is a civic, not an ethnic identity. It is also a son's tribute to a lost father, whose own voice resonated so powerfully 20 years ago. Alan Little, BBC News, Vukovar.
Now, it's not often that tattoos become the subject of a government direction. Well, the Culture Ministry in Thailand has suggested that foreign tourists should resist the temptation to decorate their bodies with Buddhist tattoos. In fact, the ministry then went further, asking all tattoo artists to ensure that religious tattoos be applied above the waist. Our correspondent Rachel Harvey has been finding out whether ancient traditions can mix with such modern practices.
Ornate temples and graphic demons. Testament to the spiritual and the supernatural. Sacred tattoos are used to channel both. the monk infuses the design with special powers, charms for protection or attraction, health or wealth, concerns as relevant today as they've always been. Chryson says the potential gain far outweighs the pain.
The tattoo makes other people feel compassionate and affectionate towards me. I really believe the tattoo can help me. Some girls who didn't like me before start to like me now.
But there's a price to be paid. The recipient of a sacred tattoo must stick to a strict moral code, or the power of the charm will be lost. Traditionalists say that part of the deal is being forgotten or ignored. The body art now sought as much for fashion as for faith. It's not just tattoos that are imbued with magical power. Amulets, objects carried for luck or protection, have mystical qualities too.
Most of these amulets are fairly inexpensive, but there are some individual pieces that can sell for as much as $30,000 each. It all depends how old they are, who made them, and what particular power they're supposed to possess. But an awful lot of people in Thailand buy them and believe in them from all walks of life.
The latest edition of Thailand's oldest and most popular Amulets magazine rolls off the presses. This twice-weekly glossy sells thousands of copies to collectors and dealers at home and abroad. The Amulets business is worth hundreds of millions of dollars a year. But how does this belief in all things magical square with Thailand's image as a modern Asian state? There's no contradiction, the editor tells me. In fact, the magazine has gone high-tech to tap into the growing market, launching its own iPad app.
Collecting amulets is not just a hobby, it's an investment. We have lots of readers in other Asian countries, in the United States and Australia, but they got the magazine late. Now they can see it straight away on the iPad.
The pressure and demands of modern life applied to ancient tradition. Will that help keep faith alive or kill the mystique that lies behind it? Rachel Harvey, BBC News, Bangkok.
And that is all from Reported for this week from me, Zainab Badawi. Goodbye for now.